on the show, the best show.
And here we are. Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the studio. Well, not the studio, the Soccerverse lounge. Today, big boss, the real big boss. Look at that, the big boss of Soccerverse, Andy Gore, CEO and huge personality in the world of soccer management simulations, and of course, with us in Soccerverse team. How are you doing, Andy? Welcome.
Hi Nick, how are you?
Yes, good. It's nice to hear you, to have you here. First of all, guys, just confirm that you are hearing us very well, please. Confirm. Try to say volume, please. Mine or Andy? It's all okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
let me know if you can't hear me and I'll
I'll
fix it
turn
up.
I'll turn up I'll turn up a little bit more. Better? Tell us. All clear, good, perfect. Let me put the music. A little bit of music, yes. Okay, welcome everyone. How many of us? Almost 40 people already. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you'll have a nice session. Andy, thank you for the invitation. It's been a very successful first season, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun. People had a lot of fun. A lot of unexpected things and challenges and the fights happened and still are happening in soccer, which is amazing. We all love it. And nothing. Let's start, guys. One thing. First of all, there's going to be a giveaway. You know me. Every now and then, I get SVC. I give SVC. So at the end of the interview with Andy, stay. We're gonna have a few marbles and probably 500 SVC if you behave, maybe a little bit more. Okay, that's at the end, and keep the questions for the end. Let's do like this. We do the interview, a few questions randomly for me. I freestyle. At the end, stay and write the questions for Andy. That is here for us. It's okay. It's okay like that, Andy.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Perfect. So let's start. Let's start with the interview. First of all, Big Boss, tell us about a little bit about yourself as a person. Who do you support? Were you a soccer player, or are you a soccer player? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Big Boss.
Yeah, sure. I'm certainly not one of the. I'm certainly not a player, a football player, and not have been. But yeah, I'm playing manager games for a very long time, going back to the late 1980s through the 90s. I started making football manager games in 2001. It was the first time I made one. That was Nintendo Game Boy, and we did one called Alex Ferguson's Player Manager. And then I just worked on a number of different football games. Um, FIFA was one of them. I was on the Game Boy as well, and then some mobile phones games. And in 2004, we set up Soccer Manager, which is a multiplayer game at the time. That was in 2004 with my brothers, and then it was pretty much the game worlds are and still are like Soccerverse. So you had a game on Saturday, Wednesday, cup games Monday, so everybody would be very familiar with it. And then that just grew over time, and I think millions of people have played that over the year, or tens of millions of people have played that.
Yeah.
And then we also we started making a single player game in 2014, and then that got popular, and it was Soccer Manager with a date on the end of it. Soccer Manager 2014 and 15, 16, every year was the same. And then so we had a multiplayer which operates similar to Soccerverse, and then a single player which is similar to the old Champ Manager games on mobile. We had it on desktop for a bit, but predominantly mobile. And then in 2018, Andy Colizimo, or Snail Brain,
Yes.
we got introduced to each other, and he had the idea to remake the original multiplayer soccer manager, which is called Soccer Manager Worlds. It's still going. Actually, it's 20th year anniversary next month. There's
Nice.
still people playing that.
2018.
And
You first met 2018, right?
yes, yeah, we have a common friend, and he introduced us. And Andy's background is he's blockchain basically, going back down to the early days, what I understand. And he had the idea to remake the original multiplayer soccer manager and bring it onto the blockchain, which is what now is Soccerverse. And yeah, so we can blame him for that. That's his fault that we've got this project.
Luckily, you got introduced. Who's this angel?
Yeah, we can blame him actually.
We
It's
can
his
just
fault.
blame him, yes. Thanks God. Okay. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, he introduced us, and we met in a pub. And Andy's idea was to rebuild the multiplayer game on a blockchain, and there's some advantages to it. I didn't understand it at the time because my background isn't blockchain, and I just found it hard to understand why we would build it on a slow database when we've been working very hard up until then to make it on a fast database.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I started understanding it, and I could see the proposition of it, and and I'm happy to list all those maybe during the course of this call. But there's a lot of benefits to building the game on a blockchain, and another interesting thing when we were working on this, because we started working on it a few years ago. During that time, every time we heard buzzwords come about like NFTs or DeFi, all these things, we thought, what's that? And we'd either go and have a look into it, or I'd go and have a look. What's an NFT, for example? Going, oh, we've got that in it. Or what's a DEX? Oh, we've got one of them in it. So everything any buzzwords that came about during the course of this project we've been working on, we realised that we actually, without knowing these buzzwords, we were just naturally building them in to the project. So but yeah, that's my background really, making manager games.
That's a very nice story, and it really tells about your expertise. And I think we all know how lucky we are to have such a personality like you in Soccerverse. But that probably all the other competitors, I mean, for sure they don't have, because you are with us. So we're very strong. We're very strong for that. Andy Snailbrand and the Colosimo actually told us about this meeting. I was curious. I mean, what happened in your mind when in that pub? It wasn't a pub, right? You got introduced, and then he said, what did he say? How did he sell you the idea of Soccerverse? Because you were not a blockchain person, so everything was new, was shocking. It was like me coming to you and say, hey, let's create Soccer Manager to the moon, something like that. How did he sell you the idea?
I think it was that they had the Xaya blockchain, and it was. So I've heard of Bitcoin, and I understood Bitcoin, and I could see the proposition of Bitcoin like a store of value, a digital gold. So I understood that at the time. But making a game on something like that, I didn't see the merits straight away, because there's like you can get very. So we were working with the original Soccer Manager games. We were trying to speed them up really fast with MySQL, and we were trying to get transactions down to milliseconds. And there's a lot of capacity, a lot of. We were doing it before we had SSD drives, so there was a lot of work that we were doing to optimize things. It was always disk writes and on the MySQL. And the proposition that Andy said was that they built this blockchain. Instead of having a block every 10 minutes, they got something that could do it every 30 seconds. It was really fast, and it's pretty groundbreaking what they've done, which it was, and it is. But for me to hear 30 seconds was a bit of a difference to like milliseconds, which is what I've been aimed at. So that sounds very, very slow. Yeah, it was weird. So it didn't, and I didn't see the value of making the game on something that would be so slow. And but it was very and to make one game world where the other one was making lots of game worlds. So there's a few things that didn't. I couldn't see the proposition of it straight away.
But
But
then
yeah,
something changed,
we
right?
went.
The features of the blockchain like kind of captured, because then you decide, let's go, let's do it. What are the advantages that you saw?
It sounded fun for a start. I mean, it did sound fun because it sounded challenging. And I always enjoyed working on soccer. It's called Soccer Manager Worlds now, the multiplayer. And I always enjoyed working on that, going right back to the start of that project. So it's kind of it was to sort of work on that project again and build it on a different platform was just like personally interesting. But yeah, that was the main reason, really. I think it was just interesting to get it going on the blockchain. Sounded like an interesting project, and we spoke a few times after that, and eventually we got it going.
Nice, nice. Okay, Lizarwi, can you hear me better now? I put up a little bit the volume. And then what was okay from you? You know, you come from a huge pedigree, background experience with FIFA, with all the soccer management game that you listed, and Soccer Manager itself. Tens of millions of people still playing it. Um, what were the priorities? You know, when someone like you meet a technical person like Andy C, Snailbrain, what were the first steps that you said, okay, we need to start this Soccerverse thing? The most important thing is what? Find a good team or set up the main economy, because it's different from a normal soccer management game, because the funds are real. So what were the priorities and or challenges?
Yeah, there was certainly lots of challenges, and but skipping forward a little bit, we I think we've got over the most. Well, I think we've mostly solved or got solutions to the main challenges that we've come about, which is like economy and lots of things. So we're in a good place at the moment. We're sort of confident where we are. We've had a lot of challenges. Originally, when we first started working on it together, it was like a collaboration between Soccer Manager and Xaya. So it's like a sort of like a collaboration working together. So they would, Andy and the team would, and Daniel and Konstantin and the others would look after the blockchain side of it and provide the platform and the tools, and then Soccer Manager would build the game on top of that. So that it was like we were kind of abstracted away from the blockchain challenges, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And originally it was called Soccer Manager Crypto for about a year, and then we renamed it to Soccer Manager Elite.
Yes.
And the game world was the Elite Championship. And then we got to a point where it was during 2021. So there was the back end of 2021, and we thought, well, let's this project's got a lot of legs. Let's take it out of Soccer Manager and Xaya. Let's put it into its own company, and then we can put full focus on it and really make the most of it. Really push it. So what we did is we set up Soccerverse. We moved the game into that, and then we started registering the name Soccerverse, got soccerverse.com and all the things you need for the project specifically.
You also did a big move,
full-time.
like your career. You shift your whole career, right? Because you were the CEO of Invisible Studios with your brothers, and now you're fully on Soccerverse, isn't it right?
That's right. Yeah. So not fully. I've left Invincibles, but I'm there a little bit. That's it.
Advisor.
Yeah, more as an advisor sort of role in the background, and I see them like once a week or as sort of needed at board meetings and things. But my full time is on Soccerverse and putting 100% into that. And yeah, same with the Xaya team. I mean, it's a really good team. It's a very good team. And then other people have joined since. Yeah, very good team. I'll maybe list them all up later.
Look,
Probably what I'll do is forget one or two people, and then
no,
that's
we already
yeah.
spoke about, the uniqueness of Soccerverse is not only the idea, but is also the team that is behind. Is the crypto thing, like the team from the blockchain side are the best in the world, under key because they don't hype. They're not like pump and dumps games that are out there, but they are the inventors of play to earn, and they have a lot of experience. And then there is you from the soccer management simulation perspective, which is amazing. That's great. And how's it Soccerverse? How Soccerverse is going now? I mean, now that we are one season in, tell us a little bit about the expectation you had, how it's going, and how it's going. Season one went.
Yeah. So season one. So we're very happy with season one and how season one's gone, because we had a few betas before we put season one out, and we're having a few discussions last year. It's like when's the best time to put it out, and we even discussing calling it something different, like a pre-season or a season zero, and then we thought, well, let's just put it out. It's been in the beta a very long time, and we can still carry on working on it. So that's what we did, and we thought, let's get it out in the wild, because we knew that once the game goes out there, we can't shut it down.
Yeah.
So it's out there permanently now. And we also, the timing of it, so we wanted it to start in a January and end in a June, and then the next season would be in July and end in December. So we wanted to be working on that sort of that calendar, if you will.
Yeah.
We didn't want to put it out in February or March, and then we sort of 2 months out of kilter. So, but yeah, we're very happy with season one. We're very happy how season one ended and how smoothly we've moved into season two, because there's a lot of things that happen that are very important at the end of season one, like the payouts were all correct.
Yeah.
Moving into season two, creating a new season, that we had all the correct promotions and correct teams qualifying for the Continental. So there's a lot of delicate things. So from a perspective of not being any sort of serious issues, we're very happy.
Very happy. What about
This project's very challenging to work on in that perspective.
Exactly. Oh, well, happy that you're very happy technically. What about in terms of revenue, in terms of expectation on this case? Are you online with what you predicted? You're underperforming or overperforming? How is it going?
But what was the numbers we were looking at? So I think we got 80% revenue, 80% of what we were expecting.
80%.
For the first few months. So we weren't far off. Not that we're like mystical and we can predict these sort of things.
No,
but
of course.
That wasn't far off. That wasn't too bad we weren't too far off that. So we were quite happy with that so far from the revenue perspective, and user numbers were happy as well. So, I mean, I'll explain later on, but we've got this thing called eras, and we're working on a roadmap that we're going to make public. Some of it's out there and it's gone out there in one form or another, and we've got things in the wiki, but we're going to make like a bit of a clearer roadmap that we've been working on in the background. And we've got this thing called eras. Like we're putting things into 3 eras. It's not as clean as that. They do overlap a little bit. It's kind of where more of our focus of attention is on, rather than what the game's doing. We've got elements of all 3 eras happening at the moment. I mean, just very quickly, the first era was to get the game world up and working and get a healthy game world. So what I mean by a healthy game world is there's enough people in there for it to be functional. So if the more people in there, the better it is for everybody. But it's not just the amount of people, it's the sort of like kind of the quality of people, if you will. So they're very active. It's all about the engagement between people.
Yeah,
and
very
positive
social.
engagement. Yeah, very social, building a really good, strong community. So that's to see, because when I was working over at Soccer Manager, we made say thousands of tens of thousands of worlds over the years, and some of them succeed, and some of them die. An example of one dying might be somebody comes in with 40 accounts, takes over 40 clubs.
Mm-hmm.
and then nobody else can play properly in that game world. So then no one wants to join, because no one wants to join anyone who's playing it properly in there. What will leave?
Sure.
All this game worlds where cheating is just rife, and everyone's cheating and it ruining it for those who aren't playing it properly. So it's there's lots of parts to get a healthy game world. So when we were deploying this in season 1, we were like, what was really important is to get this game world up off the ground, get it healthy, get the engagement really healthy between people. It's challenging as well, because we decentralized nature of this, we don't want to be interfering in the game world and removing cheats so much.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we've got this balance of how to do it. Soccer Manager, we could just go in and just reverse
Change.
transfers, remove
Yes.
people. It's not so straightforward here. So we had a lot of challenges and a lot of planning before we put the game world live. A lot of sort of risks that we had and problems that we thought might come out. And so when we start looking at it from that point of view, I think what we safely say is we've come to the end of season 1, going into season 2, and we do have a very healthy game world, very healthy game world.
You happy
And there's
happy
more
about the
things we can
community
do.
as well?
Community's fantastic. It's brilliant, and so this is a really good first step. So this is like era 1. Let's get the healthy game world, and we've been able to. We've also got restrictions on it, which one day we hope to lift. So there's transfer restrictions, there's
Ah,
economy restrictions, there's
mm-hmm.
payout restrictions. So some of these are deliberate in order to
Cool.
sort of like deliberately combat cheating, say,
Sure.
things like this. So we've got tuning and tweaking to do in the game world to make it more active. And
Yeah,
then we've added things in during the season. We've put in jobs boards so people
amazing.
can match each other up. And so there's a bunch of features we've been adding and working on. We're currently working on improving the chat, so
What?
that engagement between people,
You
the chat system.
a new chat system? You're
In,
working on a new chat
the,
system?
yeah, the in-game chat. We started looking at that, so
Cool.
people can make it easier to use between people. So we're going to continuously do that. But the first area of getting that healthy, active, vibrant game world
Community. Yes,
was
yes. Of good
that
people.
that was the main goal. Yeah.
Nice, nice. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. You're gonna share the roadmap with us very soon in this show. So guys, stay tuned because he brought the roadmap. A big boss brought the roadmap. It's gonna be very interesting. So cool. And so another question about this: what is compared to Soccer Manager, for instance, the most successful game in your, I think, series of simulation, if you agree? How did that started? I mean, what are the best steps that should be taken now for, in your opinion, to kick, to gain even more people in Soccerverse? Uh, from your experience, because you've done it already many times, Soccer Manager, huge success. What would you do today if you could, like this, in order to attract even more people in the game?
Yeah, so we've era 2 is so the current game we've got at the moment is kind of a bit orientated towards being a manager.
Manager, yeah.
However, there's only 5,000 manager roles, so it's not. I mean, there is other roles. You can be agents, and there's lots of players. Although not every player is going to have an agent, because not most people probably don't care about a lot of the players in the game in order to by influencing them and put themselves as an agent. So, but there is agent roles, and people can also control a club collectively in a group. So, but it needs to be able to scale. It needs to have that route to scaling. So, with Soccer Manager Worlds, we would make lots of game worlds. That was its scalable
The
path.
key.
And the key, yeah, in the single player game is infinitely scalable. Everybody could just download the game, and
Sure.
you could have whoever finds it can play. But in Soccerverse, it is restricted the amount of people that can play as managers, so it's kind of like capped. So there's a conversation myself and Andy C. Snailbrain we're having a few years ago, if we're just going to make one game world, how do we scale it? And that's where the influence came in. Influencing clubs, so groups of people could look after a club amongst themselves and appoint a manager, and influencing players, which effectively was going to give the players a brain in the game. So these different roles that people are playing, but it is orientated around being a manager at the moment, and that's kind of deliberate, because originally we wanted to get a healthy game world. That's the base to build the rest of Soccerverse on, was a healthy game world. So we wanted all the best clubs, the biggest clubs, all looked after properly.
Yeah.
So that was
happened, kind of.
year one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and so we're happy with how that's happened. And so in order to grow it bigger, now we're working on Era 2 things. And Era 2 has got that scalability in it, where lots of people can come in and buy, influencing the favourite players, and they're maybe not too concerned about being a manager themselves. Maybe they've got a portfolio. So we're working on something called portfolio management. So you can go in, and if you've got lots of influence in clubs and players, you can go in there and you can manage your portfolio. So, for example, you go in your portfolio at the moment, in your profile area, we're going to have it where you can see what clubs are unmanaged in your portfolio, or what clubs are managed by someone who's not, who's still locked. And you can quickly look at it and say, well, if I'm looking after my portfolio, I should get managers for these clubs that I've got influence in, and contact the other influence holders in these clubs, and let's get together and let's get a manager. So that's going to bring more people in to play the game. And the other thing about this is it's a game with network effects. So the more people playing it properly, positively, will make it better for everybody in the game. So it gets stronger, and the game world hardens up even more, and it gets better. It gets even more fun to play. So that's what we're kind of looking at next. And another thing is the payouts. So being able to value all the influence, we need to make it a lot clearer what all the payouts are. And I might be able to show you a tool if I can find it later, but we were using when we were testing behind the scenes.
Nice.
If you end up bottom of the league, for the end of season prize money, for example.
Yes.
If you end up at the end of the season, if you're mid-table, if you're top of the league, you would get twice as much as if you're mid-table, and if you're bottom of the league, you get half as much if you're mid. So maybe you get 100 payout of 100 SVC if you're bottom, 200 if you're in the middle, and 300 if you're in the top.
Yeah.
So if people understand all the different payouts and all the different scenarios, the payouts,
it's attracting.
Then it's attracting, yeah, and
especially
you should look after stuff in your portfolio.
Exactly, that's nice. So basically, for Era 2, you're looking for in more soccer maniacs that like to invest, like for instance the ones that they play as fantasy soccer, or it's basically those ones. That's the target audience, which is massive, because almost everyone plays fantasy soccer with friends, with family. A lot of people, they don't even know about Soccerverse yet, but they could invest in their players and favorite players, especially now that Andy C told us that the plan is to add new players every 2 weeks. I mean, whenever that gets implemented, but new players every 2 weeks means that the scouting it's even more pronounced. Every 2 weeks, new players are getting into. You want the influence? Yes, no, depends how you scout. So cool. So that's interesting. You're going into the economy part, Era 2. And I saw that there is Neosite here, which is our marketing big boss. So hi Leslie. Another question that we always have is marketing, actually. So that should be a question for Leslie. So maybe we'll do a live with Leslie one day. But do you have any insight about your strategy, if there is any, to increase the marketing of Soccerverse, or any ad that you are planning to do, or influencers? I don't know. Is there anything planned?
Yes, I mean Leslie they're certainly putting the finer details and the plan on the scaling out of the user base. Well, one thing that I will say that well, it what we always did with Soccer Manager, we would have it where it would grow itself through network effects or virality, and that was like the starting point really. So, for example, the things I was saying there for Era 2, if I've got in my portfolio, I've got like a handful of clubs, and I don't really personally, I've not really looked at those clubs, and I should do. I should see whether they've got managers or not. So I should be bringing people in who I know to come and be a manager to look after these clubs, because if those clubs I had influence in were better looked after, then the payouts would be better, and I'd have more SVC. But I don't. The portfolio area of our offering isn't of the game isn't very strong at the moment. It's be a lot of work to keep clicking on all your portfolio clubs one after another. So that's one thing where people should be bringing people into the game in order to
Friends.
help them, friends in to help them. Yeah. So I know two people. And when the other thing is on the player influence side, if I've got a portfolio of player influences, uh, as we all know, the sort of like the crux of the game, if you will, is knowing who the football players are in real life, who's on the up, who's on the down, who the next young superstars are. So if you research in real life and you find all the best youngsters, or you know when a player's going to retire, or you know a player's injured for 3 years and he's broken his leg, so you need to know what's going on in the real world football, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
more
yeah.
you know that, the better you are at the game. So now, really, if you've got a portfolio, you would want. There's people I know people who know about football players a lot better than I do. They can name
Sure.
you
Me
a
too.
17-year-old Belgian player. How do you know about him? I've no idea. How do you know about these people? But they do, and so this is to bring people into the game. We're looking for this sort of like maybe like a collaboration way of doing it. Uh, People bringing people in to help look after the portfolios, and then the other side of it is once you've got your portfolio of players, you've then got to look into the game to
Mm-hmm.
see what's happening in the game with your players. If he's And this is another thing that we need to bring out in the portfolio management side of it, in the payout side of it. For example, if my player is my 17-year-old that I bought influence in him, is he better playing at a top club in England in the top league, and not playing very regularly, maybe only play 3 games a season or 4 games. So my payouts, playing bonus payouts, are going to be very low. So
Yeah.
I'm getting less. Whereas if I was in a lower league, I'd probably play every game.
Mm-hmm.
My bonus payouts for playing bonus would be better weekly, so I'd get more. So I probably want him to go on loan when we introduce that into a lower league, or I'd want him to move to a lower league. However, if I was in the top, if I'm in the top division, and I've only played a few games,
Yes.
when I get
The
at the end of
prize.
season prize money would be higher if I'm at a club in English Division One
Yeah.
as opposed to English Division. So you've got to work out where's it best for my player to be within the game. So not just knowing your real life player and getting
Tough.
them. You've then got to interact with, and then you've got to interact with people. You might have to let's get the other player influence holders. Let's chat with them. Let's appoint an agent. Let's go and chat to the manager. Or the other thing, one of my players the other day had a big leap went up 20 points. So somebody's got a lot of influence in that player, and he's probably going to contact me and say, if you
That's a
don't give me a new
question.
contract, I'm going to leave. So you've got to
What
keep your eye on what's going on in the game. So
What do
the
you think
more
about
people
this?
we bring in,
What do you think about this actually? About I'm very curious because it's a very hot topic right now about threats. Let's call them threats of agents overpowered that want you to put your player on the market. Otherwise, they put minus 10%. You know, the bad morale. What's your opinion? Is this part of the game? I mean, in my opinion, it's part of the game, but some other people want to legislate it somehow and put rules on top. What's your opinion?
we've we'll have to we'll certainly keep an eye on it. Um, I'm just going to answer that by jumping over to Era 3. Just it's just
Let's go.
reminding me something.
Let's go to the
Era
roadmap.
3
You
is
want to
when
go? You want to go to the roadmap
We're-
so that you show us all the eras or later?
I can do, yeah. I mean, maybe in a little, just
Okay,
a little
okay,
bit. Oh, if that's okay.
okay, okay.
Yeah. So in era 3, we're hoping to. So we do have the ability to change the game rules at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because we were doing that with good intentions. So we can change things, but in era 3, we're going to open source all the code, and people will be able to set up their own nodes and things like that. So we want it to be sort of like, decentralized. Um,
Infinite game.
we like losing control of it, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our intention. So, but with the agent thing, we are able to change things like that. I think that's the point I'm trying to make at the minute. We can, if the balance isn't right, we are able to change things. We think the balance is all right. I mean, the intention is for people to collaborate with each other or argue with each other is the right way. So they can either work together or work against each other. That's deliberate. That's part of the game.
Exactly.
So the game is to contact other people and say, let's get together, let's work together.
Deal your shit
It's kind of
together.
operates.
Like in real
Yeah,
life.
it's like real life. We're kind of operating off game theory.
Yeah.
So a lot of the game is game theory. If we collaborate together, we'll both be better off. But it relies on us both collaborating together. So really, as an agent for a player and a shareholder in a player, it'd be better for me to have a good relationship with the manager and say, look, you play me. I don't expect you to play me every game because you're an English Division 1 club. My player's an 80 rated.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do expect you to play me a little bit. At least play me 4 games, and then I'll be happy.
There you
And
go.
that's fair. And this is this. But then the manager says, okay, I'll. I mean, he always has the tool that can make him unhappy, and then that doesn't work for anybody. So we're trying to work on this game theory where we've got the balance right, where if everybody works together, everybody should be better off. However, everybody usually operates in their own self-interest.
Of course. When real money is
So you don't
involved.
know what's. Yeah, so they're going to collaborate, or they're going to collaborate for a bit and then not collaborate. So there's this game theory deliberately woven into it, and people either arguing or collaborating, making enemies, making friends. It's this sort of stuff. We don't want people making enemies. I don't mean it in that sense.
But it's inevitable.
We want a good community. Yeah.
It's
There'll be
inevitable.
rivalries.
This is a community game, a social game with real money involved. Just like in real life, there are collaborators and enemies and rivals, these things. So basically, you allow it. I mean, you're not for putting a rule that it's not allowed, because you thought about these powers and this game theory enough, and with all your experience, you decided this is the game. Let's see how people fight, because these are fights, and I love it. Cool.
Yeah.
So
We're hoping to have the balance right, where we're hoping to have the balance right. So we've given some tools for agents. We've got tools for managers. Really, if you had a 99 rated player and he's at a club and the manager isn't playing him, if there's something not right, I guess. Like maybe the manager doesn't like the influence holders in the player personally, so he's deliberately wants that player to have a bad career, and their payouts will be less in SVC because he's not going to get the bonuses at the end of the season. He's not going to, and the only thing the player can do is not renew a contract. The agent, I'm not going to renew a contract. I'm going to leave for free. You could have sold me. If you really don't want to play me, then put me on the transfer market, and we'll agree to do that. So everyone should operate in their own. I think it's something like people operate in their own selfish interest, what's best just for them, but then they realise that they can't do that all the time because it will work against them ultimately. So they've got to collaborate with people and get the balance right. So that's a big part of the game. And to answer your question on how big it can scale, a lot of people, what we're hoping that side of the game is, well, we've seen people do it now, and it should be fun. So that a lot of people can participate in that, and So yeah, that side of the game is yet to fully come out, and Era 2 is when we're bringing that out.
Nice. Okay, let's talk about the future. So the new features that they're working on, the roadmap, or what are you working on at the moment that you can share with us? You already said new chat system. You said the portfolio manager, like a new way of displaying your influence in players and clubs, right? What else? What should we expect?
Yep. So Era 2's the portfolio management is the big one, probably our priority, I would say, and that's to bring out the Era 2 things and also help makes the game scalable. And to answer your question on marketing, yeah, well, it's growing organically, network effects, people bringing their friends in. That's like a base point, and Leslie will then be doing activities on top of that to accelerate it, which could be YouTubers. I will leave that with him exactly what he's putting together for that to accelerate it. But yeah, I will try and do a screen share if that's okay, and I'll pull up the roadmap.
Yes, start a screen share, and then I have to adjust the window. Probably I need to adjust it. Just start to screen share, and then loans. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, give me 1 second. Screen share. Let me see. Oh, okay. Let me resize a little bit the window. Yes, people is asking about loans, of course. We want to know. And okay, should be fine. Let me see how down you go. There you go. Okay. Do you guys see? I think so. Yes, we see it. Oh, sorry. I shouted on the mic. If someone was sleeping, I woke him up.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to make this public.
Nice.
Hopefully soon. Yes, we got the eras 1 to 3, and so this starts in January season 1. So we've done the things in green are the things that we've done. The things in orange are era 2 things, which is what we're currently working on.
Essential.
And essential things. So we've got to test the end of season 2 before we move into season 3, for example. So there's some essential things in there. And then we've got red, which is era 3.
Yeah.
And the blue, era 3 is things like open source in the code.
Okay, yes.
Supporting more the user generated content and the tool building that's going on in the hub.
Amazing.
So it's more focus as a team where our focus is going, as opposed to we don't end era 1 and that's done and then we move into era 2, and it's not like that. So a bit of era 3 is going on at the moment because people are building tools. We have opened up the APIs.
Era 3 is season 3 already.
It just happens. The eras are just happening to be lining up with the seasons at the minute, but it's not right.
But
yeah.
But are flexible? You're targeting January next year for season 3. That's the deadline, or they can change depending on how we progress, right? It's not fixed in stone.
See, the season 3 is fixed in stone.
Oh yeah,
when that
season
starts.
3,
yeah. And that'll end in June next year, and it'll be season 4, and it'll just go on forever. And the intention is it goes on for decades. In fact, we can't even stop it once we've open sourced it and people are running nodes. So that's the era 3 thing where we're trying to get to with era 3. Okay, yeah. I mean, some of these things we're still working on this, and myself and Snailbrain are going to go through this. Blue things are more game features to improve the game, so they're not exactly a feature as such. Sorry, they're not exactly in an era. Just features that we want to improve. This list, I'll show it here, but it might change. It's what we're going to do with these features. We're going to put them in front of the community.
Nice.
We're
There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and there might be other ideas that come up. It's just not exhaustive. It's just what we've got at the moment, and we want the community to help us design some of these features. Give feedback, give us ideas and things. We can work with them on the features because they're going to play with these features at the end of the day. So we want to make them that they're happy with them, and we did that with loans. But yeah, there might be other features. This is just what we've got at the moment. But just before I come to the features, I'll just quickly show you. Yes, so Era 1 was the green stuff.
Yes,
So
people is
launched
really
the
really
game.
looking forward. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah. So yeah, January we launched the game. February and March we're doing 1,000 improvements. We called it. We actually called it 1,000 cuts, but like the opposite to 1,000 cuts. We're making it better, not trying to kill it. So it's improvements by 1,000 fixes, and we were just fixing lots and lots of things after the game got launched. We put in 3 new languages: Japanese, Turkish, Indonesian. We put in a home screen, notifications, that in-game pop-up message that
Yeah, nice.
from time to time. We're working on the back end for loans. We're currently working on the front end. Community hub, the ultras in the community to help out. We're implementing some community feedback from season 1. The AI transfer thing that runs between unmanaged clubs so they move about some of their players. Cash injection facility. Champions League qualifiers, the Cup Winners' Cup. Adding new players in, which happened at the end of season 1.
New players,
And
yes.
player rating changes, jobs boards, player influence, price updates.
Yeah.
And then we released some APIs. So we did all that in season 1. And in season 2. So this is the priorities: is the portfolio management to make it what are all the payouts I get for my player influence, my club influence. What payouts are there under different scenarios? If my player is, as I said, is at a smaller club as opposed to a top division club, how does my payouts as a player influence holder is affected? If and I will try to show you a tool in a minute, but it's all that stuff which I don't think is very clear in the game at the minute. I think it's hard for people to go and calculate.
Yes.
Or everybody calculate what their influence is worth in SVC terms, what the payouts are each
And
season,
dollars,
what it could
yes.
be. Yeah, all that side of it. So we want that to be really clear with a payout calculator.
Nice.
Of some sort. And then that goes into portfolio management.
Also, the calculator goes into the management portfolio. It's going to be an app or like a website? The portfolio management, just a tab inside the game or a standalone app?
It's a good question. We're still working that out. I think we're leaning towards an app, standalone web app, similar to the player ratings. But then we can incorporate some of the back end functionality into the front end of the current game. So maybe you go to look on the player influence of any club, and then you could say, well, if this club is mid-table this season, what would its SVC payout be? And then what would it be if it was top or bottom?
Yes.
And then you can make a judgment what you think that influence is worth in SVC terms, and
that's perfect. Like
how
you
much
said,
you get over 10 years.
Best marketing for Era 2.
Yes, yeah. And then chat revamp to facilitate not arguing or collaborating between people.
Arguing, yes.
Economy tuning.
Oh, and un Andalus was asking actually, economy tuning, you mean ticket prices, these things?
Yeah, anything. So what's really important is the economy is balanced. So that's so important. We spent a lot of time on that last year before we released the game. All the different payouts, all the different payout places. So it might be things like increasing the manager wage, for example, or the agent wage, because they're very low at the moment. The reason why it's low is because we didn't want somebody coming in and taking over 1,000 jobs and ruining it for the game world and the ecosystem. And
flooded
so we've
with
left
SVC.
exactly. Yeah, and once it starts hardening it up, and the game world hardens up, it's harder to cheat, and then we can release. We can maybe increase manager wage because people will only be a manager if the club influence. There's enough club influence holders to look, and they're looking after their influence and their clubs properly because it's in the best interest to do so. Therefore, it's going to be hard for somebody to come in and just appoint themselves as a manager across a load of clubs, so that manager wages then doesn't have to be so. So there's lots of things that we were able
Nice.
to tune these things,
Yes.
and we will do that constantly. Keep looking at the economy, the numbers, the payouts. Is it balanced? We don't want inflation in there, or a little bit, but we don't want it getting out of control. So there's a lot of work to do on the game economy. We're happy with it at the minute. We're happy with season one, but we're going to constantly checking it and tuning it.
100%.
Um, uh, yeah, and mobile first. So we're going to do a lot of work making it easy to use on a mobile as well. And then new user onboarding funnel as well. So that helps bring in new users.
100%. And I'm looking at new user onboarding, player loans. So you said that the backend is done, it's green, and now it's only the front end that people is waiting.
That's right, yeah. So we need to now work on the front end of the player loans, and then we'll be able to deploy it. So we're currently actually actively working on that as we speak. So I don't know an exact timeline when that's going to go live, but it's certainly probably the next thing that's going to arrive in the game. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah. The rest, everything else, we don't really have an order on it or a timeline on it. Some of these things might be going into this season. It might be season 3, or even season 4, and maybe we don't do some of these things just yet. And maybe so what we're going to do is have like a poll with the community, and we're going to. This is just an initial sort of, apart from loans.
To give a priority.
These are the features.
You basically ask the community to prioritize this idea list, wish list.
Yes, yeah.
Amazing.
And even get involved with some of them. We might have to. So basically, some things I'm trying to think of an example of what we've got here. So some we won't need much help from the community, like a commentary that's really a playable commentary that you could watch play out live. We would just implement that and help ask if people find any problems with it. But some things that are to do with the game and like the game being balanced, we might need more help from the community to make sure that we don't disbalance the game if there's any features like that. So yeah, how much help and how much community would be involved with these features depends on the feature, and they're not set in stone either. They're just a bunch of ideas, I'd say, at this stage.
But people will be very happy to help and prioritize. I was also asking myself, when is the 3D or 2D visualization game in this list? Is this something in already in the roadmap or not?
It's not at the moment. This list we're still refining this list. The 2D visual one. So I think what we've got match engine improvements, and that's certain things like trying to make it more visual. So we might start off with something like highlights, and eventually we might get to a point where it's circles. And Andy C. Snailburn, he had a few ideas of ways at how we could maybe play out the game live. You could watch it more live, like a minute is every block or something like that. So there's stuff like that we still need to look at, and how can we improve the match day experience.
In this case,
but yeah, I mean, these things are possible.
Match engine improvements in this case you mean the defensive is overpowered, the counter-attacking, these things, like how the game calculates the win at the occasions. Is this in this category?
That would be in this category. Yeah, this would be making sure that so we have that there's sort of super formations and things, which we're not convinced at our end, but we're going to do more work looking into those. There's lots of combinations of things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's things like that. So they're not huge overhauls of. It's not a new match engine. It's more like maybe we could tweak and fine tune things in the match engine. So we'll have a good look at a full season's played now, where people have played it, all these games, and we can go and have a look. And it is the things we can improve in there. And
With
then yeah, I
time.
mean, we did with time. Yeah, we with Soccer Manager, it started off with a text
Yeah.
engine, and then it moved to 2D circles after a few years in, and then it ultimately ended up 3D with the
Yes.
players all running around for 90 minutes. So yeah, we will,
It,
we could work towards something like that.
sure. Open game source code, players retiring, testing. Yeah. Bloomberg screen. What is that? Bloomberg? Is that Bloomberg?
Yeah, that's the current idea we've got. Where maybe when you come into the game, it's more like alive. So there's league tables rotating around one corner, and
Like a terminal. Yes.
influence prices moving around more, and team of the week. It's still very in the concept of an idea that to make you feel when you come in, it's more alive than less static.
Yes, amazing. I see. I have the visual of the Wall Street terminal where everything moves, and there is a lot of economy here, so you can also do like these plots and graphs, shares. I mean, influence that is being bought, sold at the second live. It's gonna be amazing. And in the red is Era 3, right?
Era
Which
3, yeah.
gem?
So I think similar to what we've done with the blue stuff over here, we've just put it all in July for now because we've not got any specific dates. As I said, we'll work with the community when is the best time. What's the priority? What the people want the most? Then we can timeline it out. But it's similar to Era 3 things here. It may not be January
Not set
2026,
in
but
stone, of course.
we've put them there. But this is kind of the goal of what we want to get to, where the game is like it's kind of like we're open sourcing the code, and we're also leaving the game in a state where we've tuned it up, because this ability to change the parameters that we've got, we want to lose that ability once we're happy that it's been refined. So we could just say from now on, we're not going to change any of these payouts. We're going to stick with these payouts forever. The game rules don't change, basically. So we give up that ability. We enable people to set up their own nodes. So maybe we're not even running a node. So people don't have to trust us. They could run a node on their own in their own home, and they could verify all the transactions are the same. And we could remove more transfer market restrictions.
That's gonna be funny.
SVC fundraising. So it's like we're going to leave. It's like if we just left the game. It's like the game then becomes set in stone. The game rules,
That's the idea.
codes, open source. That's what we want to get to. Yeah, and we've also actually got this in the wiki.
Yes. It's not
towards
you come from Invincible Studios and Xaya, a organization that funds Xaya, is called Autonomous World. So you put them together, and it's infinite.
Yes, yeah.
There you go. Adding value.
We can't turn this game off, and it adds value to the game assets, which is one of the reasons and benefits to that is that it is this era that you mentioned here. So we're putting the roadmap live, but this has been live for a while. This particular article in our wiki.
Yes.
But it's what we're calling like down here. I put
the Nirvana.
Like that, the Nirvana for the game. It's we've tuned it all up. We're happy with it. All the game economy could run in 20 years' time, and it's still running, and everybody playing it is still hopefully enjoying it. but the rules are fair and everybody buys into the rules, and nobody can change the rules, not even us. No one can change
Yes, yes,
the game
that's
world,
important.
and everybody, and then the game assets get more value because of that, because it can't be turned off.
Yeah,
Uh,
you cannot lose your assets, so you can sleep well. If you invest $1,000 in a player that you know is not going to disappear, you can go to sleep that the game doesn't change in a way that your asset is devalued, um, on purpose. So it's anti-cheat.
that's
It's amazing.
yeah, anti-cheat, and that's where we want to. That's but at the moment we do have control over these things.
Yeah.
We're the only ones running the node, but it's for good intentions. It's like a normal centralized game. The community trust us to, at the moment, to be doing what the right thing with all our best intentions is to get this healthy ecosystem, healthy game, get it in a good state, which is going back to the mission of Era 1, say, and then ultimately Era 3, it's like, well, we're moving into this decentralized, more trustless environment, which adds value. And I'll just scroll up here. So this is the game theory that I was talking about earlier. So it's the different ways you can maximize your payouts, different roles.
It's well written. Well written. We actually went through this when you first launched it together, I think.
That's right.
Another stream. I don't remember, but yes. Oh no, you presented it on Discord, on an AMA, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
What
So
about the
This is a good article, this, to play the game properly.
This is good. Yes, I went through through it many times. I was interested about the stadium now because I saw that there is written a stadium enhancement in Era 3. What does it mean? More the possibility to increase the seats?
Yeah, so this is just an idea that we've still got in here that we will explore, and sponsorships and real-time manager action. I guess that's coming back to you.
Yes.
The match engine improvements, more of even a 2D pitch, something that's more live. But yeah, these things we've not got any sort of a lot of details on these, and I think the things that we'd have to give a lot of thought out and decide into.
Nice. Okay, so these are basically the big ideas for the future. Sponsorship and football stadium enhancements. Nice. Okay. Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing the roadmap. And you said that you wanted to show the portfolio app, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. Let me see if I can find it.
Guys, in the meantime, wait for the questions that we are about to finish, I think, with the interview, and then if Andy has time, we will reply to your questions. So don't worry. I'm reading your chat every now and then. Oh, wait. Screen share. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So this is just a tool.
It's a tool.
So it's internally working out the payouts, and we're using this for testing purposes. So you can sort of see this. So this one is for end of season prize money payouts. So I must have put the green thing is I put in the pot for whatever league that is, the prize money pot.
Yes, and the position.
And then I can put whether you finished top, middle, or bottom. This is league. You can also test it with cup and the cup prize pot. And so I put league and middle. So it's it's basically saying. So this is what the payout I would get if I had 2,000 influence in this particular club, and I was ended up middle of the league. I would get 211 SVC, but you can see the difference here. If you end up top, I would get 306.
50%.
And if I end up bottom, I'd get 116. And then it's similar for player influence as well. So if I had a 66 rated player, I played 14% of the matches in that
Mhm.
season, and I had this much influence, that would be my payout.
Sorry,
And then you
40%
can,
is in minutes, total minutes playable.
yeah, 14% of all the minutes that
Okay,
are
okay.
playable in the season.
Mhm.
So, so I get 5.6. If I change that to if I played 100%, you can see the payout is many times more.
Way bigger, yeah. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
When you
it's
Can I
trying to
make you a
communicate
question?
this to people.
Can I ask you something? When you put a top, middle, or low, in reality, you can put also the actual position like seventh or third.
It- yeah, that when we make the tools public, we'll certainly do that so we can get it absolutely accurate. And
Perfect.
also, it would be different depending on what league you're in as well. So we might have a league with 16 teams, or it would be different to a league with 20, or a league with 24. So we'd have to. This is just a rough top, middle, bottom. I think this is working it out in a league of 20. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to build a tool to be a lot better.
It will,
Yeah, so I'm top.
yeah, it will. I'm just thinking because this will be like a proof for all the community tools that have been developed by, for instance, Chipone or Akidral, Block.
Mm.
All these guys did an amazing job doing something similar, and if you come out with an official version, then it's just like a proof of their tools, that their tools also work.
Absolutely, yeah. And because if we, but so Era 3 would be, rather than us building these tools, we ideally would be helping third parties or the community build tools,
Hmm. With the
and that's Era
API
3's the
support.
focus. API port, maybe we do developer days where anyone who's making tools, we have a session all day and we help them with the APIs.
Hmm.
So that's part of our intention for Era 3. It's not just decentralizing and making the code public and
Have you ever
having the rules
considered?
hard in stone. It's
Look, I have this idea. Have you ever considered acquiring the tools of the community somehow, so that you don't have to do this job? If someone else has done already the job of some tools, what if you kind of acquire? You go to Chipone or Akidral and say, "Hey, Chipone, I like your tool. Can we integrate it directly into Soccerverse or Akidral? Or you prefer to have your own in-house proof official tool? Maybe it's a regulation thing."
yeah. I think for something like these payouts, I mean, we'd certainly won't. We'd be very happy for someone to build a tool that was better than ours or easier to use. We're not in competition, so to speak, but maybe it's some of these places when you yeah, it may be a trust thing. We want to make sure that we've got information correct. Um, we want the information in, but maybe tools could be done better than what if we put the minimum in, say, or the basics of what's needed, and then like a tool might have lots of other features in that just maybe people prefer to use a tool that's made a bit different to what we've done, but we can still verify the numbers. But yeah, or maybe we do work. Maybe we help. Maybe they make the tool and we work with them, and then we use some of that tool to be put into the game in
Yeah,
certain places where it's really useful.
amazing. Well, the more the better. People have more choices, more you different. It's nice. It's nice to have a choice in tooling as well. So thank you so much, Andy. Is there anything else here?
Um, I don't think so. Not for myself.
Sounds like
I think
someone is fighting in your home or wherever you are.
it's very noisy in the background here. Unfortunately, yeah, it's got
It's
very
fine.
noisy.
It's fine.
Hopefully, it's not too bad for him.
No, no, I don't think so. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. And then that was very nice to for you to show us the roadmap and explaining us all the things.